Hi, it's Paul Brennan from the Bring Our Birds Home campaign. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, time for another video update. I've been looking forward to this one. Today I had a Skype conference call with Kat Jenkins of Multitude Crowdfunding. Kat is one of the top crowdfunding consultants in the country. She gave us a fantastic briefing on what we need to do to craft an effective and well-timed crowdfunding effort to take account of the various phases of the Bring Our Birds Home effort. Phase 1, we're calling the recce phase. Phase 2 is getting possession of the airframe phase. And phase 3 is the dismantling and transportation of the frames from their locations all the way back to New Zealand. That's the biggie. We'll get to that shortly. Phase 1 involves a recce trip to the 5 locations that will be in Russia, Canada, United States, Cuba, and Brazil, though the Brazilian trip is a little different because we're talking with the Brazilian embassy and there's some chat to go on that yet, and hopefully some more positive announcements to make within the next few weeks that could have that as a sort of like a separate case. But let's assume that they're all at the moment the same. We'll need to get around those 5 locations and create the relationships to initiate the wheeling and dealing that will lead to phase 2 of either having donated the airframes or purchasing the airframes, and then to phase 3 where they'll have to be dismantled at the locations and then transported back to New Zealand. Phase 4 is the storage phase, and that's a bridge we'll cross when we get closer to it. Phase 1, the recce phase, we are looking to the end of April through to the end of May for that fundraising effort. And ballpark, this is a very loose ballpark. We are looking for a figure in the region of 20 to 35K, though Kat has told us to do specific budgets. We will be doing that. We'll budget it down to the nearest dollar so we know exactly how much we need, but it will be in that ballpark to fund 3 people to travel to those locations, accommodation and downtime while they're away from their day jobs. I'll be one of them. I'll have an assistant plus an engineer. Here's another piece of news. In the last day or so, I've been contacted by one of the top aviation engineers in New Zealand with over 40 years experience in airliner maintenance and overhaul. He's now retired but still acting as a consultant. He's offered himself free of charge. He's volunteered his services when the time comes to oversee, plan, and supervise the dismantling of the airframes and the transportation of the airframes back to New Zealand. So he will work out the procedures, he will work out the equipment required and the method of dismantling the airframes to guarantee the best result. I can't thank him enough for coming forward. This is the sort of addition to a campaign like this that takes it from just a pipe dream, something we're talking about, to something with gravitas and critical mass. So I'll be meeting with this gentleman in the next few days or so in Auckland, and after that we'll be able to name names. But rest assured, we have someone now who is an expert who will be there to oversee the most complicated and most expensive part of the operation, and that is something to feel very good about. And I want that person to be part of the 3 who go on the recce trips, which I'm hoping to complete before the midpoint of the year 2017. So the fundraising timeline for the first phase, the recce phase, will be between the end of April and the end of May. We don't have too much time to get the publicity out and the engagement and recognition of the campaign grown to the point where we're guaranteed of a good first phase funding result. There's a sort of a formula that sits behind it. I won't go into the detail, but Kat pointed that out. It makes a lot of sense. So here's where we're at the moment. In terms of our social media, we're doing well. We've got a great story to tell, and organically from nothing, we've grown pretty well. But we need to do a lot better. We have 300 likes. Part of this formula for the sort of money that we want and the ongoing success through the different phases that we require to make this whole campaign a success, we need between 4,000 and 5,000 likes on our Facebook page by the end of April. Now we're going to spend some money on Facebook to put our Bring Our Birds Home campaign in front of people on their timelines. We're going to do that. Also, using my media connections, I'm going to try and set up some nationwide radio and television interviews. Also, I think this campaign lends itself to a fantastic major feature in one of the weekend national newspapers, maybe multiple features, as we go through the different phases. And also, we are filming every part of this, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and shortly we'll be making pictures to some of the global TV networks to make a series covering this effort. It's a great story. Already you can feel that, the anticipation is building, the drama is building, and we're starting to capture that on video as well as we go. So that will also help if we're successful with selling that idea in the ultimate goal of creating enough awareness around the place to help us fund our way through to the end goal. And once we get into the later stages of this, later phases, and bigger entities can see that we're getting some success, I think we'll see bigger donation possibilities, matching funds, etc. But that's yet to come. And that's when we'll start to put in place the incorporated society and the credible, transparent accountability platform that will be needed for larger fundraising. For the first phase, we're pretty well okay with what we're doing now and the sort of the way we're loosely organized, but after that we'll have to go to a more serious level. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's very orthodox in terms of setting these things up. The rules are very clear, so we don't see any problem there. So what can you do to help? Well, we need to get up to those thousands of likes on Facebook. Anytime you come across something we're doing, please share it. Tell your friends, tell your online friends, tell everybody that we're doing it. Try to get them to look at it, get them to share it, to like it, so we can get up to that sort of critical level. And any ideas or suggestions for publicity you have, feel free to share them. We're trying to think of everything we can do as we go through this process. Just anything you can do to help will be welcome. And here's a very positive thing to end this video update on. Remember, a few updates ago, I mentioned a friend of ours, Graham, was doing an OE to Cuba. And we said, look, Graham, if you get the opportunity and you're at Havana Airport, look around for this DC-10 that we're interested in and try and get a picture of it. Verify it's there, it's still in one piece, and we can, display that picture. Well, yesterday, Graham, as he was taxiing out on his flight from Havana to Miami, stuck the camera outside the window of his plane, and guess what? There she is. ZKNZS, still intact, still in one piece, looking a little worse for wear, but she'll scrub up. And he got this shot as well from another angle. Our DC-10, the final remaining Air New Zealand DC-10 ZKNZS, there she is less than 24 hours ago on March 21st, 2017 at Havana International Airport, sitting there waiting for us to bring her home.